I can say that when I went into this movie, I didn't have the highest expectations. But after seeing the movie and as I was walking out, I thought to myself, that wasn't bad. Bioengineering company, the Life Foundation, discovers alien symbiotes in space, captures them and brings them to Earth, who then begins to investigate and in the process becomes infested, if you will, by the symbiote Venom. Tom Hardy plays Eddie Brock, who is a reporter who will do anything to get the job done and eventually gets infested by the symbiote Venom. Michelle Williams plays Anne Wang, who is Eddie Brock's girlfriend, and Riz Ahmed plays Carlton Drake, who is the leader of the Life Foundation, who is responsible for capturing the symbiotes and believes they are the key to humanity's future. I wasn't expecting stellar performances from any of the actors in this movie, but I will admit you can tell that Tom Hardy does try his best in this, and he does do quite well. I think that he does a very good job playing Eddie Brock, and I do believe he also voices Venom. The actual interactions between Eddie and Venom are highlights of the movie for me, and their misunderstandings and banter results in a lot of comedic moments that I feel were very organic and were actually very funny. Michelle Williams does pretty good. There were only like a few scenes where I thought her acting and line delivery could have been a bit better, a minor nitpick. But I had to laugh at Riz Ahmed, not because he's a bad actor, far from it by any means, but he's supposed to be playing this intimidating corporate CEO who will do anything to get the job done. They get that across, that once he has something, he set his mind to something, he's set to it, and he's going to do everything that he can in his power to complete that task. But Riz Ahmed is not an intimidating looking actor at all, and he didn't come across as intimidating. Like, he's threatening people and saying he's going to do all these things. Like, it's acted well enough, but he's not intimidating at all. Near the end of the movie, Venom decides that he's going to help Eddie Brock and he's going to help save the Earth. But we don't get any kind of talk of that or Eddie trying to change Venom's mind or anything like that. He just kind of decides, yep, I like this place, I'm going to stay here, and that's pretty much it. There's no build up to that at Venom coming to an understanding or, yeah, Eddie trying to convince him or anything like that. It's just, boom, changes his mind for no apparent reason. Is cool. I think that's the best way to describe it. Some other parts of the movie that stuck out to me is when Venom is going to town on all these different mercenaries and police officers, him showing off what he can do with his abilities, stretching out his arms, making shields, and all those kind of things that Venom can do. But the final fight between Venom and Riot is edited very poorly. There's lots of cuts. It is dark, and both characters have very dark skin. Do symbiotes have skin? I'm not sure, but they're both very darkly coloured. And it is very hard to make out what the hell is going on when they're fighting, especially when it's up close. The music in this, for me, is a lot more memorable than any Marvel or MCU movie that I've seen to date. My biggest complaint with one of my biggest complaints with the MCU is that their soundtracks they're not distinctive to me. I've never gone out of my way to listen to one of the themes from one of their movies because I don't remember any of them and I don't particularly want to listen to them. Just by watching this movie once, there's at least 2 themes in here that I liked, and I'll most likely go to listen to again when the official soundtrack comes out. It's more dark and menacing and gritty like Venom, because Venom isn't a hero, he is an anti-villain. The CGI. The CGI ranges from okay to really bad. Except for one scene, there was no other scenes where I thought that Venom or Riot looked convincing at all. But I do suppose that would be a hard thing to pull off, to try and make Venom and Riot look convincing in CGI. And when the final confrontation between Venom and Riot happens, you guessed it, it's just one big CGI fight.
Big CGI fight coming up!
The first act is pretty fast, introducing all the characters, where they are in their lives, establishing their relationships and how everybody knows each other and all that. That goes by very fast. The second act seems to mostly focus on Eddie and Venom getting to know each other. And it spends a lot of time with Eddie and Venom fighting off life corporations, mercenaries and police officers, and that's all entertaining, except for this one car chase I felt dragged on for just a little bit too long. The last act does feel a bit rushed, like they went, oh crap, we've gone way over time, we need to end this now. But there are these scenes with Riot, who takes over the body of a woman and becomes Scream. I'm not sure how that works, how one symbiote, just when they take over a different body, they become a different personality. Oh, that maybe makes sense. But yeah, when Riot's making his way to the research facility where the other symbiotes are, I think it would have been better if Riot was at the facility the whole time with the other symbiotes and he's slowly like trying to trick Carlton Drake into becoming his host or something along those lines, just so we don't have to cut back every act and see where Riot is making his way to the facility. I just think that could have been cut out and maybe streamline the movie just that bit more. So the pros for this movie is good acting, especially from Tom Hardy. The interactions between Eddie and Venom were really good. And the action is good and entertaining when you can actually see it. Yeah, I thought I'd have more pros than that, but the whole movie as a whole was just entertaining for me. The cons are bad CGI. The editing is pretty bad in some places, especially some action scenes. Some parts of the movie could have been cut, and confused character motivations, like Venom all of a sudden deciding he wants to help save Earth out of nowhere. So for a rating, I'm going to be giving it a 7 out of 10. It's actually higher than what I thought I was going to rate it when I first watched the trailers and all that. But I think because I went in with lower expectations, it helped a lot. Because I was pleasantly surprised in a lot of areas. I know I have more cons than I have pros, but still the movie was very entertaining for me. Those cons don't detract from it as much. And I know some of you might disagree with me. If you disagree with me, that's fine. So getting into a bit of spoiler territory, She-Venom is actually in the movie. And I found that surprising, wasn't expecting that at all. It was only for like 30 seconds in the movie. Yeah, when Eddie Brock and Venom become separated, Anne Wang bonds with Venom and become She-Venom. And her and Tom Hardy share a weird symbiote kiss thing, and then, yep, that's it. Had She-Venom in it for 30 seconds. But what I really want to talk to you about is the end well, not the end credit scene. There is no end credit scene. I'll get into that in a second. The mid-credit scene where Cletus Cassidy, well, sorry, getting ahead of myself, where Eddie Brock goes into a prison and is going to interview Cletus Cassidy. Those of you familiar with, well, the comics, video games, TV series, movies, well, not movies, but Cletus Cassidy is the host of the symbiote Carnage. And the cameo and the star of this cameo is Woody Harrelson. And the hair that he has is absolutely ridiculous. I had to stop myself from bursting out loud when I saw it. He just has this gigantic red frizzly afro, something like a clown would wear. It's just utterly ridiculous, and I don't remember seeing any interpretation of Cletus Cassidy that has that kind of hair. It's like completely insane, but then again, Cletus Cassidy is insane, so it has to be intentional, but I'm used to seeing Woody Harrelson with next to no hair, and just seeing him like this is just utterly ridiculous. And what he says to Eddie Brock is like, when I'm getting out of here, it's going to be carnage. And that was just so cheesy. Like, just to top it all off, they should just had Woody Harrelson wink to the camera. Like, obviously they want to be setting it up for a sequel, which may not happen with the rights of Spider-Man and Venom changing hands. But I would enjoy seeing a Venom movie with Carnage as a villain, but chances are that won't happen. And if you are hoping to wait to the end of the credits and get treated to an end credit scene, there is no end credit scene. Well, that's a lie. There is an end credit scene, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Venom. It's a scene from the movie coming out later this year, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you're interested in seeing that, then by all means, stay to the end, watch that. It's pretty good. I'm actually looking forward to watching it later this year. But if you're not interested in that at all and you just want to see more Venom stuff, then leave after the mid-credits scene. There's no point. I know there will be some of you out there who would probably disagree with my rating and some of my points. If you do, please comment. Let me know what you think. I'm always happy to hear what other people think of movies. I encourage people to disagree with me. As always, everybody, thank you for sitting down with me and listening to me ramble about a movie for a few minutes, or 10, 15 minutes, however long this goes, after editing. Thank you again, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.